So, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We have determined that the experience boosters do stack. They are worthwhile and they're additive. Awesome. Cool. Very cool. We've also determined that grinding for my entire lunch break sucks. Cool. Very cool. I really did. Like, I heated up some mashed potatoes, and I was just kind of munching on that while leveling. That's kind of all I did. Here we go. Good. We're in the final dungeon, which is, I know, try to be shocked. I try to be shocked. It's a copy-paste of pre-existing assets. I know! It's insane. They would never. Except it's purple. There's like this purple filter. We've got the cotton candy filter going on. Oh, this game taxes my sanity, I swear to God. For real, I'm really looking forward to being done with this goddamn game. Look at those black shards. They couldn't be... Oh, okay, bye. I will not finish today. There's no way. There's no way. I remember the story beats, Blade Chaval. And I remember the last boss was an X-Death wannabe. Anyway, so because we know that the X boosters are worthwhile and stack, we're going to leave those on. What, for the whole game? I don't know. I'd have to calculate. Level cap is 99, as per usual. Hang on, let me let the auto battle do its thing here. Let's see. Let me add in the, like, extra hour I just spent leveling. I'm muted. In a few minutes, we will hit 36 hours. "36 hours is way too goddamn long for something like this. In fact, I very rarely give negatives for game length because that's not how that works. But, honestly, I think this might qualify. No, hear me out for a second, right? No, it's not even the padding. Hear me out. I'm trying to put my words in it, because my brain is destroyed right now if it's not obvious. Like, this game has been causing me difficulties with the brain have-a-re-go. It's the Civilization 7 problem. When you... Okay, let me use an example. This is a made-up example. How many of you have played Kingdom Hearts 1? Now, for those of you who have played Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2 kind of qualifies for this as well. I want you to picture the first, like, 5 hours of the game. When you had access to jump, swing, and, like, fireball. And that's your kit, okay? And that's it. You don't have access to any of the stuff that makes Kingdom Hearts 1's combat or boss design interesting or fun yet. Again, 2 is a better example of this, but more people have played 1, so whatever. You get the idea, right? Now let's assume for a second that because of the very nature of the game you're playing, you spend about 30 hours in that state, not getting access to the good stuff. We didn't get summons until today, to put this into a bit of perspective. We didn't have access to level 3 spells until yesterday, and that was with Golbez and Fusoya. That right there, that's a problem. It's a problem distinct from padding. That is a problem of structure. This is why I call it the Civ 7 problem. For those of you not familiar with the whole situation around Civilization 7, all 4X games have 3 distinct phases: early game, mid game, late game. Early game is obvious. You have a lot of options but limited resources and or time. So you can only do like one thing at a time. That's cool. It works, right? Mid game, you have the same array of options, but now you can do multiple things. Mid game and early game are pretty easy to get good in a strategy game. That's relatively simple. Late game is where things fall off, because by then, late game is just mid game again. It's a huge issue, right? So 4X games for literal decades have tried to solve the late game problem. And a lot of different games have done a lot of different ways. Civilization did it by resetting your progress. Every time you hit mid game, there's a huge era reset, and you're reset back to early game. This was an extremely dumb idea, because what that means for you, the player, is you play early game, mid game, early game, mid game, early game, mid game, end. It was so bad they've actually already patched that out, by the way. But that's the Civ 7 problem. And you see the issue. It's a structural issue at that point, because the game is designed around you being stuck in newbie mode for way too long. You cannot skip over these. These are not optional. You have to do every episode before you can unlock the final 3. And you have to do the final 2 to unlock the final 1, at which point stuff finally starts freaking opening up. We are stuck in early game for the majority of the game. I'm not sure how exactly I'm going to negative that, but I do think that deserves, like I said, structural negatives. That's... yeah, that's a capital P problem right there. So I'm going to jot down a note right now. I'm going to chew on that later. How is King Cecil faring? Nobody cares about Cecil! Why do you care about Cecil? Oh, it's 100% how the game was released. Because they released an episode, and then they released an episode, and then they released an episode, and it was all building up to the finale. So each episode is the beginning of the game, and then finale. Woo, yeah. But no, it is not a very good excuse, especially since there were ways to solve that when they, put it out as a single game on the PSP, on the Wii. And then they did a freaking remake of the game. If there was ever a time to go back and solve that capital P problem, it is this exact version of the game. The 3D version of the game, where they redid every freaking thing in order to put it onto the DS engine. I have a strange feeling. I think he understands what is happening here. All of it. You've changed, Theodore. Has he? Huh? The Theodore I knew always acted like there was a heavy burden placed on his shoulders. The burden of being Prince of Baron. No, the burden of having Cecil and Rosa's blood in his veins. Have we met? You're right. It always made me wonder, why'd you never feel a sense of pride about your family? I guess I had to learn how to. From whom? Kane, and Biggs and Wedge, who, as a reminder, are freaking dead. And from all the people my father once fought with. I always hoped you would learn it for yourself. By the way, funny quirk of English. Fought with could mean fought alongside or fought against equally. Suppose my father did too, come to think of it. Don't worry, I'm sure your father will be back to normal in no time. It's true, her oil flipped. You're right. Dun dun dun. Yeah, by the way, if you don't rest at these rest spots, you permanently lose those bands if you care. I don't at this point, quite frankly, but whatever. Huh. Well, there's our party editor. That's actually nice, I'll give you that. But I think I'm going the wrong way. Hang on. Maybe? No, I want to go, here. Cecil is technically a playable character right now, in the sense that he has the stats of a gopher. I'm really not joking. He has such terrible stats. And, you know, Theodore is just there. Well, you see, Mr. Red, we had to establish the next generation. And the only way to do that is to dwarf the old generation. Well, there's an event which is actually optional, by the way, in order to fix Cecil. But at that point, like, it is so far into the game, there's not a lot of reason to use him at that point. Because, you know, you've been making do without him for the entire game. What am I doing? You. Yes. I think we're going to switch off of doing that, see how that feels. Really? I thought it was optional. Whatever. This is not where I want to go. Oh, the outcome's optional. There we go. There we go. I knew there was something optional about it. By golly. Trying to lie to me. I see how it is. Oh, I see what it wants me to do. Okay. And we're gonna go for the bad. Alright. No, don't worry, we won't. I know some of you would be sad if I did. You know who you are. Listen, did anyone ever actually care about Cecil? Ignore the entire party who won't shut up about him. Oh, hey, we just learned Shell. For the first freaking time, we have learned Shell. We still don't know Kiraga, by the way. Actually, let me double check that. Have we learned it since then? Nope, we still don't know Kiraga. Jesus Christ. Yeah, sorry, I accidentally went the right way. I didn't mean to. I gotta go the wrong way first. This is one of the things I actually dislike about this dungeon, even the original SNES. It's not the worst maze I've ever been in, but a lot of it is kinda samey, and you kinda want to go everywhere, because the treasure in here is very worthwhile. It is also a huge gap in between recovery spots. There's pretty much one at the entrance and one at the end. That's it. Also, I love Edge's speed. He's been kind of carrying the party here. Yeah, if he wasn't such a glass cannon, he is a straight-up DPS. He's exactly what I would expect from a ninja. That is true, Reggie. I'll give you that. And yeah, the last dungeon has Buko Exp. Only surpassed by the Giant. Oh. I do find our party makeup funny. We have Edge, Rydia, and Kain, who were here last time. Porum, who's subbing in for Rosa. And Theodore, who's subbing in for Cecil. Golbez is pretty awesome. If I was going to replace anybody for Golbez, it would be Rydia. That would cost me summons, though. Bloodlands. Effective against undead. How does that work? Oh, whatever. Let's see how it feels. So fast. You know, Kain is a slug. Miss! Okay, whatever. Well worth my time investment. Yeah, our accuracy just kind of plummeted from 98 to 30. I think I am going to go back to the Defender. Being able to HP drain is useful, but... Now, hold on, Reggie. I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one. Because that supposes the idea that anything looks good in Dissidia NT. And Porum is dead. That's cool. In Dissidia Duodecim, yeah, it looks baller. Honestly, everything looks good in Dissidia Duodecim. Most of my favorite alternate outfits are in Duodecim as well. Like, the Cloud of Light was Duodecim. The Light Emperor Mateus, that's Duodecim. The Silver Kuja, that's Duodecim. Oh my god, I just realized Theodore has finally hit 4 digits of health. Holy crap. Most worth salvaging thing in this game. I mean, bans is the easy answer to that. More games need to reintroduce dual techs, you know? And triple techs. And quadruple techs. You get the point. Combo moves! More combo moves, please. I know they're hard to design. I don't care. Do it. Do it. Yeah, this game actually has quintuple techs. I was going to show off a few, and then I realized I needed weird unlock requirements. And I immediately lost interest in bothering. Sorry. Oh, not here, not here. Hi, Sean. See, dual techs are why Mass Effect 2 is so awesome. Hey, we just learned Curaga. My god. Thought I'd never see the day. I'm not quite joking, though. Even in games where dual techs are, like, objectively inferior to, like, just doing standard attacks, they're cool, right? There's something cool about doing a combo move. What's funny is there actually was a combo thing all the way in FF4, although it was only for 2 characters and only under pretty limited circumstances. In FF4DS, they actually expanded that considerably and let you do a whole bunch of combo things depending on who you put your augments on, which was very cool. That's one thing FF5 could use. Combo moves. Then again, real talk, can you name... Yeah, Twincast. Can you name an FF that wouldn't benefit from having combo moves? Other than, like, 13-3, I guess, because there's no party. What am I doing? What am I doing? $14. Oh. So it's funny you say that. I actually agree with you. I'm not sure 14 would be a good pick for having combos. But WoW would. WoW fits that more rapid-fire, response, action-oriented kind of a thing better, right? And has better under-the-hood code to support, you know, nice, clear indicators of what's being done and how it's being done. I also admit I've always been fond of what Lotro did. Lotro actually had combo moves too, and they were awesome. That's a good point. They might be able to do it with the new setup in Evercold. So let me tell you how Lotro did it. Because Lotro is an existing MMO that has combo moves, and I don't know how FF11 did it, so I can't speak to that. In Lotro, certain types of attacks would provoke a combo, essentially. And a whole new pop-up, a whole new screen would pop up, a part of the UI which doesn't show up normally, which is just... And now you can go ahead and input your combo. Now, in a raid setup, the raid leader can actually set up I want to do this combo, right? What that does is it shows you the types of moves that it wants to be done in what order. So like red, yellow, yellow, blue, blue, green, green, right? And so then it's up to the party to fulfill those. Now that there's still coordination there, but oh no, right? The idea being that Rax knows that she's the second red, Sean knows that he's the first yellow, Mr. Red knows he's the second green, etc. We all know our slots. We wait for our slot to light up. We do that. Cool? Cool. And then the specific inputs you do change what the output is, right? There are, it's kind of a coordinated limit break. So you could do like all red, for example. All red does a really big physical hit. You can do all yellow. All yellow does a very long dot, like a 2-minute dot. All green heals the entire party. All blue restores everyone's mana. And then there's all kinds of other stuff that does all sorts of other things, like lowers the target's armor, or buffs the entire party, or whatever. It's a great system. It's actually one of Lotro's better features that I've never really seen another game actually do. It is very coordination heavy, but again, and? Hi, Zar. And you're probably wondering, well, hang on, how do you know red, yellow, blue? So the idea here is each ability you have is red, yellow, blue, or green. So in other words, each class has some, probably multiple abilities they can use, which are red, yellow, blue, or green. That was done so that you don't really have to interrupt your rotation. You just hit the next red ability that's in your rotation, right? And there you go, your red is now done. In some cases, the combos were sufficiently worthwhile that it was worth interrupting your rotation. And that was another aspect of the system that was well designed. The combos were really good. Like, really good. They were almost always worth, like, you know, interrupting a rotation to do. Now you're probably thinking, well, hang on, how do you do a combo? Two ways. Technically three. Let's talk about the third first. The third is certain individual bosses, for story reasons, would provoke a combo, like, on themselves, if that makes any sense. You know how, like, you get that auto limit break against Sephiroth at the end of FF7? It's like that, right? Here you go, here's a limit break. Story reasons. So that's option 3. Option 1 is random chance. It is 0.03% chance per every attack done to any boss-level enemy that it'll provoke a combo. Now, that sounds pretty low, and it kind of is, but it averages out to be roughly about 3 or 4 times per raid. But then there's the second method. Certain very specific classes, most notably Burglar, have an ability, usually about a 2-minute cooldown, that just makes a combo happen, just provokes a combo. Boom, done. So you have the ability to have some control over when those combos happen, if you happen to have brought that class. So this is not what I was expecting to see. I saw this earlier, but I was kind of busy. I needed to go get the Blood Lance. Oh, there's one crystal still here. That's a good sign. Oh, well, it's dead. I feel something near. Stay on guard. Oh, not at all, Mr. Red. They probably couldn't do combos worth a damn. Why am I fighting Bake? Okay. He's just happy to be here. What's this? You must be the chief guardsman. I am reborn by the crystal. Okay, that's dumb. Hold on, pause. What am I doing? Okay, so first and foremost, remember all those spider silks we bought? Yeah. Okay, now I want to, let's see. Yep, by the way, Spider Silk's an AoE. Jesus Christ. Look, he's just happy to be here, okay? He's even like boogie. Watch his feet. He's actually pushing his feet back and forth as he's doing it. It's great. Please, while I still have life. What? What do you want? You want me to kill you? I'll kill you! I'll kill you so badly. Dude, he's grooving. Look at him. By the way, I love how one of the most powerful single-target dual techs in the game is between Kain and his son. beware, it still lives. Down you go. Victory! I think I heard something. Who's the strongest person in the FF4 setting? I mean, Golbez. It's not even close. Yes, right. Okay. I don't know how it is in the PSP version, but like, in this version of the game, Kain has a lot of connection with Theodore. Cecil is basically absent the entire game. So, Kain kind of takes over as the surrogate dad slot. And Kain and Theodore have one of the best dual techs in the game, so... I felt nothing evil about him, not like there was before. What did he mean? Reborn from the crystal, he said. His soul faded away. I could feel it. What is the meaning of this? I thought Cecil and his party defeated this monster long ago. I wouldn't worry about it. Don't worry, it's not a really dumb plot point. I'm lying. It is a very dumb plot point. God, that does some damage. No, we're doing Homeworld next. Don't worry, he's still just as edgy. He's just shinier. Protects against blind. It's a white robe. Why do I care if it protects against blind? Although, actually... Nope, he can't equip it. Can he? He can. You know what? Yeah! Hey, Theodore, put on this dress. I mean, the spirit's nice, but, I mean, that's a surprisingly good boost for frickin' Theodore, so... Taking it! Let's see. I want to go this way, it looks like. I just need more power to finally make Rosa see that I am her one true love. Dude. Put out the candle, dude. It's over. Why did she choose you? I am still happy. Rax, have you watched that yet? I am still happy that they have been views on that are continuing to slowly rise. Like, it's not exactly a torrent, but I'm still getting views on that, and I'm so happy about that. What the hell is the final outfit? Who can equip the... I'm just curious now. Like, I'm not changing my party. I'm just curious. That doesn't even say. It's not like 6. I can't even say. Protects against Pig, Minnie, and Toad. Whatever it is. See you around, Walker. Enjoy. What's with all the meetings? God! Enough with the meetings! Hey, Rax. Let's have a meeting on whether or not I should buy a Steam controller. Okay, the D-pad's awesome and tested on Sonic 3. Cool. I will now buy a Steam controller. Done. Have I mentioned I hate those encounters, by the way? If you're wondering why, please look at the screen in front of you. It's even more frustrating because Edge is my highest level character, so that he doesn't need the experience there. Damn it, Kenix Cow! We just talked about this! I guess I should res everyone. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Okay, so it is for Calca or Brina. If I was doing a challenge, if I cared enough to do a challenge run of this game, I would totally do a Calca Brina run. 100%. Let's see, so I'm gonna go... Double checking. I don't want to waste any time here, so forgive me. Looks like I want to go over this way. Listen, have you been using AI, Blade Chaval? We have an AI quota to meet, okay? AI is gonna make the future! The future is now! The Bard and 2 dancers. Oh, wow. Huh. That's... You know, if I could complain about one more thing about meetings. So obviously there's malicious meetings, right? There's meetings that just waste your time. There's meetings that could have been an email, you know. Fun stuff like that, right? All that garbage. But then there's that other weird category of meeting, which is a necessary meeting and a useful meeting, but it goes on about twice as long as it should, because for whatever reason, the people involved in the meeting don't have social skills. And so they meander, and they roam, and they take forever to hang up. Like, we're professionals, okay? I'm not your friend. I'm not here to be your friend. You're here to tell me you've got to update on the secondary server backup that we've been running all weekend. It's done. Thank you for telling me. Peace. You don't need to be like, so, okay, so I've been running the backup all weekend. Yes, I knew that. Thank you. And it's on the secondary thing. Yep. And I don't need you to tell me how you did it. I don't need you to discuss with me the solution you came up with. I don't need to know. Is it done? Because I'm waiting on you to do my part. What are you here for? Yeah, guys in the meeting, what are you here for? Master. We love you, Master. 5-way. I told you to keep a watch at the castle for me. We couldn't just stay there and watch, Master. Not while the moon is advancing ever closer to our homeland. You are way more useful down there than you are up here, I'm just saying. We've come to defend our land, our honor. My creaky-old body may not be capable of much. But if it'll help stop the moon, I will gladly lay my life on the line. I want to contribute to the cause, no matter how little it may help in the end. You could have done that on the planet. You flatter yourself, as if you've somehow become the end-all, be-all of the shadow arts. No. I did not mean that, Master. Not at all, Master. I just... My apologies, Master. But all the same, I will be relying on you. Jazz music. Thank you for your kind words, Master. I will do whatever it takes, Master. Please stop licking his boots. Like, I actually kind of like Edge in this. Could you stop doing this? This is kind of weird. Promise me one thing. Yes? Yes? A promise? What would that be, Master? Survive, no matter what happens. Carry our arts to Eorzea, that they may someday learn to play a rouge. Don't you mean a rogue, Master? Shut up! I'm dyslexic. So far, this is just, you know, the Lunar Subterrane again. With a slightly different coat of paint. Same enemies, too. Have you noticed that? The biggest shift was earlier when we went to fight Bagan, and in a second when we're going to fight someone else. Rydia, could you please? Thank you. God, Rydia. Only one game, Luca? But you need to pick from 3! That doesn't look like 3 to me. Oh, that is really nice. We'll put that on Kane. I'm not even... Do we have 3 Capcom games on the list right now? Real question. I'm not actually sure. And now we're in the Tower of Zot. Okay. Hey, look! More enemies from the final dungeon of FF4. Copy-pasted. I hate to keep banging on about that, but Jesus Christ. Like... this is literally just the final dungeon. And yeah, Tower of Zot, by the way. This now means the only dungeon we haven't done in this game is the Giant of Bab-Il. Don't say it. Don't ruin, don't kill my hope. Don't do it to me. Don't do it. Thank you for being part of the show, Luco. I'll figure out some games. I don't know what's on the list right now. I'm pretty sure we have some Capcom games on the list. I don't remember what right now. Like, I feel like we have a Monster Hunter there. I know Resident Evil 8 is on there. I think Street Fighter 6 is on there. I think? And there's Mega Man 12. Which has been added to the list already. I'm kind of... like, I don't want to say done. Oh yeah, we also got Breath of Fire 4. I've kind of reviewed most of Capcom's catalog at this point. Like, it feels weird to basically be caught up on a developer, but I'm close. So I'm guessing that the trio here. I mean, I'm never playing DMC. In fact, it's actually vetoed. Oh no, are they going to burst out of the crystal again? That's true, we have Pragmata, but, like, when I say caught up, that game just came out a month ago. Come on. Yep. That's true, we do need to make our way through the Street Fighter catalog someday. But we've done the Resident Evils, we've done the Breath of Fires, we've done the Mega Mans. We've done the Devil May Cries. Can I have a turn, please? Thank you. Spider Silk! Spider Silk! Alright, so what are we doing with this? Hey, look! Frost/Prime. We'll do that on her. You... let's go and buff. Why not? Because I know What's-Her-Face can hurt. Where's Protect? There it is. Do boss refights count for positives? That is a fascinating question. Focus Cindy first. Always focus Cindy first. Yeah, I honestly, I would say it kind of depends. Like, a good fight is a good fight, you know what I mean? The thing is, a good fight isn't just a good fight in a vacuum. In fact, I would argue there is no such thing as a good fight in a vacuum. So, it's kind of what Rax just mentioned, right? If it's a good fight for what you got, yeah. They put us into mindless copies. That's kind of messed up. In other words, almost every refight we've had up until this chapter has not qualified for a positive, because not only have they been blah, but they have not been designed around the parties we had when we fought them. I'm comfortable auto-battling now. My sisters, no! I don't think a boss rush is a positive or a negative. It's just a boss rush. Now, boss refights within a game is a universal negative. I rarely see any exceptions to that. What does that mean? I never thought about using Reflect that way before. Those sisters, my father fought them in the past, too. And so another set of souls disappears. He also defeated these guys, too, didn't he? I like how everyone has their own little thing to say about the bosses. It's a shame I can't see all of them. But, you know, what are you gonna do? Chrono Trigger's an interesting example. Almost as interesting an example as Diligent Dodo. Although I'm not sure anything is as interesting as Diligent Dodo. Yeah, meanwhile, Cecil's like, ugh. Oh, whoop, shoot. Stop trying to kill Theodore. God, they both focus-fired Theodore. Did you see that? Just beelined him. What? That's exactly what they were doing, Loco. They were just like, Darr. It was right in the face. God. Listen, guys, if you could kill Theodore, you'd be doing me a big favor. I think they're starting to suspect that he's actually Kane's child and not Cecil's. Yes, that's right. Theodore gets most punchable character of 2026. Don't actually nominate that. He doesn't qualify anyways. Punchable character by definition has to be a good character. And Theodore's dead. Guys. Yeah, Kai Wynn. That's most punchable character. Great actress, great direction, great writing. What's funny, I'm actually falling into a unique confluence of averages in terms of stats. I'm defeating the enemy just fast enough so that my entire round doesn't go. Which means I don't have time to, you know, heal. But the enemy has a chance to go. That is a noticeable boost to his magic evade. I think that's worth it by itself. Let's do that. jeez. We're all dead. Well, Theodore's dead, I guess. Sorry, Theodore. Nothing personal. Wow. He actually lived. I am shocked. He finally hit level 40. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the level he wanted him to be at the very beginning of this entire chapter. Most punched character. Yeah, there you go. And yeah, he learned to blink. He might someday figure out how to breathe. So I'm not sure who the dragon gear goes on, but reduces fire, ice, and lightning. Jesus. Okay, yeah, here you go. Rydia's just like, amateurs. Rydia would be Braglin, I'm just saying. Uh-oh, what's full? Physical attack down. Okay. That sucks. Hello, Wolverine. Physical attack is down. No, Rydia's the mage. That is her job. Her summons completely bypass any spell protection. And, she has a lot of them. So... reduces fire, ice, and lightning damage taken. Yep. Yeah, this is a very strange choice for the last dungeon song. This is a weird one. That is funny. Good fate. Summons get buffed under the whatcha-fig moon. The one that buffs the shuriken-looking thing, I think. I like the moon song for what it is, but it's designed to be a short loop that you play for very brief periods of the time. Like, you're not on the moon for any extended period, right? It's a micro overworld. Protect rings are very good, but I need my experience for now, so we're just gonna sit on that. Oh. Well, we got the heal in, so whatever. Recently, I went through an entire extended discussion about Last Dungeon music, and I want to stress, I spent way too much time on this. I really shouldn't have. But I came to a few conclusions, and one of them was that, despite everything, this is still a badass Last Dungeon song. In terms of what metric, Trihexia? Everything or something specific? Yeah, no, the only downside of this song is it's just a good song. Which I know sounds like a weird complaint, but like... a lot of Final Dungeon, excuse me, songs in the FF series. Thank you, Ross. It's good to know that 2 people read those. Excuse me, 3. A lot of those songs really add to the last dungeon. And then some of them are just, you know, badass. Like, all of my favorite Mega Man Wily stage songs are the ones that actually have an atmosphere to them, for lack of a better way to put it. A tone. More good gear, by the way, which we'll not be equipping yet. But we've got Dragon Gloves, Genji Gloves, and I think 1 Protect Ring at this point. So we've got 3 really good boss-worthy accessories now. And that's the Murasame. Which, yeah, we know exactly where that's going. Right there. Okay, so... top 3 worst final dungeons in terms of difficulty, cliff, encounter rate, and being too long. Yeah, exactly, Ross. That song is just... I think at least a couple of people were surprised I picked that for my absolute favorite. But I stand by it. Yeah, so worst. 3 worst FF last dungeons. The whole dungeon. That hurt. Wow. Okay, that sucks. Oh, let me think about that for a minute. Because, honestly, I love this franchise. It has some really bad last dungeons. I was gonna say, well, so 2's... okay, hold up. 2's is weird. Because Pandemonium isn't terrible. The dungeon immediately before it, which is part of the outro, is. But the enemy design gets substantially better. Yeah, it's on the Discord. The enemy design gets substantially better the moment you hit Pandemonium itself. And you've got a cool song, and it looks cool. So it rises to the level of an average dungeon, which is not great. By contrast, the Temple of the Elements in Final Fantasy 1 and every single one of the final dungeons in FF3 are both terrible. Like, just terrible. 4's has a couple of irritations, but only a couple. 5 is amazing. 6 is amazing. 7's sucks. 8's is amazing. 9's is boring. Like, 9 just feels like they ran out of time, which makes sense, because that's exactly what happened. 9's is there. 10's is terrible. 10-2's? 10-2 barely has a last dungeon. I'm not even sure we could qualify a last dungeon in that game. 12's... I firmly think that the Tower of Pharos is the actual final dungeon of FF12. But even with that proviso, I'm not a big fan of that place. Yeah, no kidding, Max. There's some good story there. I actually like the story axis of what they do in FF9, but like, 13 sucks. We covered that recently. Oh, hang on. We need, like, meaningful music. Hang on. I've got it. Give me a sec. I really should have stayed behind. I knew it all along. Oh, don't worry. I'm sure the Elder's fine. It's not all I'm worried about. You know how terrible things are down there. That's why we're here right now. We need to save Cecil. Guys, stop sucking Cecil's dick. That's Kane's job. And stop this moon. Think the Elder's gonna keel over and die just like that? Come on, that's not the Elder I know. Yes, you're right. You're kind of acting weird, you know that? Listen, Palom, you still want to be a sage, right? Huh? You're bringing that up for all of a sudden. You respect Tella and you want to follow in his footsteps, right? How am I supposed to know? Not a time like this, no. I'm sorry, you're right. I kind of realized something when I left Mysidia, though. Oh? There are other people out there with the talent for that title, not just me. You mean Leonora? Yeah, kills me to admit it, but... well, that's a rare sight, seeing you compliment someone. I'm not complimenting her, okay? She's my apprentice. What? I'm just glad you're still the same old Palom. Ah, forget it. Let's just go help that guy and get this thing over with already. You mean Cecil? Yes, Cecil, whatever. You learned Twidcast. Meanwhile, back to the dungeon. At some point. They lost Twincast. So what's the 3 worst of all the ones I just listed? I'm going to go with 10, 3, and 1. All 3 of those last dungeons, I think, are probably the worst last dungeons in the franchise. Like we just discussed, most of the last dungeons have some kind of problem or another. 1's is miserable, especially on the NES version. My God. There is just this... It's just a miserable long slog with horrific enemies, which do tons of status effects. And there's no loot. Tons of side paths, which usually would lead to loot, but there's no loot. There's 1 item in the entire dungeon, and it's the super optional weapon, and you get it literally on the second to last floor, right before the second to last boss. And there's no story there to speak of. Like, there's a good song, that's it. It's a boring-ass temple tile set, which we've already seen 100 times. And there's the boss refights, each of which is noticeably worse than the previous version. It's not a true refight, but still. And the final boss is an asshole on any version of the game. On the original NES, he has the ability to literally fully heal himself I forget the math. There's a specific formula of how much range that he can, that'll happen before he'll just guarantee fully heal himself to max health. And on the future versions, they buffed the crap out of him so he would beat the tar out of you. Then there's FF3. FF3 is probably the actual worst, because it's 3 last dungeons in a row. Each one of them is somehow worse than the previous ones, and on most versions of the games, there are no checkpoints, no save points, no recovery stations. Do the whole slog screw you. That's in addition to the fact that you don't have to fight all of the optional bosses in the last dungeon, but if you don't, the final boss is going to kill you. The specific method by which she kills you depends on the specific version of the game, but one way or another, screw you. You gotta do the boss gauntlet in order to nerf the final boss, in order for it to be reasonable. And then Tens. Tens is one that not a lot of people talk about, but a lot of people forget that Tens' last dungeon is a gargantuan leap up in difficulty. Yes, Wolverine. If you go directly from, I think it's Zanarkand is the previous dungeon, to the final dungeon in 10, you will get your stuff pushed in, right? you will die. Everything there is just absolutely designed to destroy you. Because it's designed around the idea that you went off and did, like, all the optional crap. You did the Omega Dungeon, you did the Monster Arena, you got the overdrives, you got the ultimate weapons, and then you go to the last dungeon. Yeah, you will not even get through the door boss, exactly. And it is... And then we add on to the fact that, ignoring the huge difficulty cliff, it's also kind of a crap dungeon. Weird, like, pseudo... they kept doing this weird camera thing, probably because they're trying to invoke a dream state vibe, but all it does is make it hard to navigate. And there's nothing really worthwhile in the dungeon. And the enemies there are horrific and punishing. And yeah, then there's the first boss, then there's the second boss, and then there's the third boss. And none of those are... Well, one of those is an acceptable fight. One of them. So, yeah, I would put those three at the top, the bottom, whatever. You get my point. Honestly, I've actually thought about this before. Hey, it's another one of the last boss songs I picked. All of the enemies... let me actually walk that sentence back. In FF10, the overall mechanisms and combat system and everything that's in the game, as far as its core combat, is fine, but it doesn't withstand scale. The moment enemies get to a certain level of strength, start doing a certain level of damage, and require a certain level of damage output to bring them down, the system starts to break down a little bit. FF10 more or less mandates that you break the game in half at a certain point, because the natural mechanisms of the game stop functioning right. You lose the ability to literally keep up with the damage output that bosses can do, for example. Like, you can't. You have to push through them before they push through you. You cannot do a defensive strategy. You cannot recover. It is not possible. Now, that doesn't really happen until the very end of FF10, but it is still an issue. Alright, so I'm guessing Dr. Luge here. Yeah, exactly. There's a reason why Quick Hit is considered mandatory. Yeah, they really improved it. I actually hated this fight in the SNES version. They really improved him in the DS version. Actually, hang on. I see we're starting right off with the robot form. That's not actually what I was expecting. Hang on. There we go. Okay. I knew it! You! Let's always open with Spider Silk. There's about a... Oh my god, he hits like a truck. Okay. I think we all know what we're gonna do with these two. Let's bring down Barnabas first. Honestly, we're just gonna keep doing this, I think. And then you, I want you to cure yourself, please. Yeah, Edge didn't say anything. Considering, you know, that's the murderer of his parents, right? Oh, worse than murderer of his parents, excuse me. Oh, Jesus, that's with... Oh my god, he hit so hard! We need to break him down. Jesus Christ. Okay, he's got some health. Rydia's about to die. I think we'll go ahead and use you to heal. Let's see if we can push through this before we die horribly. Oh, thank God. Now it's just you, Dr. Luge. Okay, that should help, because he was hitting like a freaking truck. My sweet, sweet Barnabas. Okay, Oh, I just froze there, because I was like, oh god, are we reversed and I missed it? We're not, we're okay, we're okay. I would love to say I did that music timing on purpose, but I did not. I haven't actually shown off Titan yet. Let's watch Titan for a second. Heal. Heal. What I find funniest is I think Theodore and Kain have been doing the most damage so far. By quite a margin. I think I see why the guide wanted me to bring those two. It's just for the dual tech. And ain't that how dual techs are supposed to work? Oh, okay, okay. That sucks. Oh god, Bleachable. Uh-oh. No, 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 no. Okay, we're good, we're good. Yes, that's right. I will show them your power. Okay. Yeah, I'm basically dragging Theodore along so that Kain can do substantially more damage. That's probably a worthwhile trade-off, but... that is the power of dual techs. You can make even semi-weaker characters, or actually weaker characters, way cooler. Learned float! Woohoo! Oh, hang on, we need a pensive music now that we beat him. Luge. Can feel it. The regret in his heart is reverberating all over my own. Regret over what? What did Luge regret? Proto-Hojo over there. That girl. I'll make her pay for messing with us. Theodore's biggest problem is he just cannot take a hit. Edge is a better tank than him, and that's pathetic. Because Edge is a bona fide glass cannon. Alright, back to the last dungeon. Whoop, oh. I actually meant that one, sorry. Hey! This sounds funny. I should jot something down really quick. Hang on. 1 second, 1 second. I don't recognize what game this... Does anyone recognize what game this song is from? Sounds vaguely familiar. Yeah, I think it's one of those obscure NES titles that, like, you've never heard of, and you see a YouTube video on now and again being like, you've never heard of this game. It's one of those things. For those of you who don't have the ears for it, because that might have been a legitimate question, and I am being a snarky asshole, this is the SNES version of the song, specifically. Which is still my favorite. Although, for a bit of comparison... completely different tone. It's good, but it is a completely different tone. You know, I just realized this is basically the third time we've done this dungeon in this game. And if we go into the giant, that's everything. We will have redone every freaking dungeon in this game from FF4. No, don't tell me, Valerian. We'll find out. I'm actually pretty curious at this point. Because it really is like it, right? Like, that's the only dungeon we haven't redone. Now that we've been to Sod. We might die. Yeah, okay. That's, well, alright, whatever. Remind me to go shopping next time I see a teleport pad. Actually, that's a good question. Does he have Raise? He does! Holy moly. Doesn't have Kiraga. I don't know if he ever gets Kiraga. The good news is you can really tell how we're kind of out-leveling the trash in here. Or, perhaps more accurately, we're at the level the game probably expected me to be walking into this dungeon. Because they can still hurt, as I just demonstrated. And, yeah. We should be fine. We should be fine. By the way, I was also asked of the 3 best FF Last dungeons. So, 5 and 6 are easy. For every reason. I don't even need to explain that. Did you just kill Theodore, like, right before you die? Is that really where we're at? You just cast death on Theodore because you just wanted him to die that much. I'm vaguely amused by that. Anyways. My other pick is actually 8. 8 doesn't have good dungeon design overall, as most people who've played it can attest to. They tried a few things, and they failed for the most part. But 8's last dungeon just kind of comes out of absolutely nowhere and is awesome. It's got great visuals, it's got great audio, it's got a great gimmick of like, it's not just the gimmick itself, right? Because the gimmick without the design to support it would suck. For those of you who haven't played it, you walk into the dungeon and a lot of your options, like a lot of your kit, is locked off. Every boss you kill lets you unlock one bit of kit. You don't have to unlock everything. That's optional. You can do that. That's up to you. The reason I say the design is so complementary to that is because you'll see a boss, like, literally in the front door. And it's the easiest boss in there. It's a boss designed to be killed with the fight command, right? Pick your first unlock. And it's up to you what you pick. And that is entirely dependent on your playstyle, because there's multiple ways to play FF8. So, you could pick whatever complements you. And whatever you pick, you now have access to a boss this way, and a boss over here. Each of them is weak to one thing. This one's weak to magic attacks, this one's weak to status effects, and this one over here is weak to physical attacks. It's a really smart dungeon, and a decent amount of it is optional. It's got a banger song. It just, it's really good, and it's strange that it's in FF8 of all things. Like, I don't know. Don't look at me. Hang on, before I do this. Alright, who we got? Who we got? Rydia? Oh, Luca. You alright? Huh? You must have a lot weighing on your mind. Cecil, of course, but also the fates of the Eidolon King and Queen. Yeah, we never rescued Leviathan or Ashura. Or Bahamut. I know they must be waiting for you right now, Rydia. Just as all the other Eidolons did. Thank you, Luca. You seem like you've been enjoying yourself up here on the moon. Does it look that way? Well, I didn't want to bring it up, but there's someone very special to me here. Palom, you mean? No. I'm talking about Master Cid. So much I want to learn from that man. Have you talked with Palom at all? Seriously, glomp him. Glomp him. Ah, it doesn't matter anymore. Huh? I don't mean anything more than that. I mean, certainly I've had my fair share of jealousy and everything. But now it just doesn't matter that much to me anymore. Luca. It's not like I hate him or anything. I just got other things I need to worry about right now. Really? Really? We dwarves don't like dwelling over small things in life, you know? And Palom is definitely small! That's certainly a very dwarven thing to say. Well, how about you grow a little dwarven spirit yourself, then? We've still got Cecil to save, and the Eidolon King, and his people. Thank you, Luca. Okay, I didn't want to comment on this, and I know it's partially the sprite, but God, Rydia is a twig. I would murder Rax and steal her power to be that skinny. Alright, what's waning? Ooh, that should work out. Alright. Alright, so let's buy a few things. These, let's just do this. There we go. We can buy ethers, they are insanely expensive. As to be expected. Let's grab these, just for some coverage. I think that's good enough. B6, right? Yep. We're only halfway through this stupid dungeon. Oh, right. So, last dungeon music. Last dungeon. So one of the questions I was asked about Last Dungeons was like, so the first question was Last Dungeon song, in a vacuum. Don't take into account the quality of the Last Dungeon itself. That's why this song is so high up on my list there, because this is a fantastic Last Dungeon song. With a terrible Last Dungeon. I think FF7's Last Dungeon is actually one of the weakest of the series. Not as bad as 1, 3, or 10s, but I would probably put 7 in the number 4 slot for worst. It will get many negatives when we get there. And yeah, Pandemonium is another fantastic example of a great song for a pretty bad dungeon. Hell, we were just talking about FF3, right? Who's this gonna be? Yeah, pretty much PB Good Fate. What's funny is the FF7 Final Dungeon also has all of the best materia, well, not all of it, most of the best materia in the game for comboing. Let me say that again. Most of the materia that combos best with other materia, which really lets you play with the materia system to its fullest extent, is in the final dungeon, and the game doesn't have New Game Plus. I have never, ever been willing to let that go. That is such a terrible design decision. I do not know what they were thinking with that. Like, it's not even just good gear. Like, a lot of games put good gear in the final dungeon. FF4 does that, right? FF6 does that. No, it's the comboing that's the important part. It's like all of the fun of build gameplay is something that's like, oh, we're at the last dungeon, quick! Anyways. So, what's the next movie I plan on reviewing? Star Trek 3, which I've actually already started. Very piecemeal. I have been having troubles lately with having time doing things. I haven't even gotten to go to the grocery store. I am running out of groceries. What am I doing? This. Wow, it's still here. Actually, yeah, Blade Tavel, that's another perfect example of that. So FF12 has two last dungeons. There's the actual last dungeon, which is the Pharos Tower, which is a 700,000 story tall tower of boring and bad game design. And then there's the Bahamut, which is, it's 2 screens, which don't even have to have encounters on it. Is this affection I feel? Oh, yeah, okay. Well, let's put the controller down. No, not Edge's father? Mother? It is as I feared. Yeah, at least Expedition 33 has a frickin' New Game Plus mode. Edge. Father, you've grown into such a fine man. Did you see that last time? Do not wail for us, Edge. We are happy. Yes, happy that we could see you once more. Yeah, me too. Did you have to pierce monsters? Please save Eblin. Save our world. Whoa. And they suicide. Cool. Alright. Thanks, Mom and Dad, for killing yourself for me. Like real parents would. Edge, were those your... Rest in peace, for good this time. I promise you, we will not let your hopes go unfulfilled. Such strong parents, and so gentle, too. Yeah, by the way, Edge and Rydia have a dual tech called Broken Heart. I find that way funnier than I should. Oh, hey, we're getting pretty far down here. Lady Quack. Oh. We can get another Protect ring soon. Nice. Of course I have, Quack. I've been playing it since it came out. That's a pretty bad loss to Int. But that is a huge boost to everything else. Including speed. Is Midnight good? Yes. It's too early to tell if it's better than War Within, but it is definitely better than Dragonflight. So that would put it at the second best WoW expansion we've ever had right now. Yeah, probably my one tiny tidbit of sanity is that the co-op group has survived the 2-month void And, you know, we're still playing through it. We're a little bit behind, actually. That is my fault. I mean, it's the world's fault, or whatever. Alright, so what's your insane, megalomaniacal suggestion, Blake Troll? Honestly, can we just run? That's right, Dragonflight. You're mid. You're better than most capes ever get. What was... Whoa! Hello. What was the score for... Could someone look up really quick? What was the score for Dragonflight? Really, Blades of All? 1,700! Even on the MMO scale, that's silly. Hang on, let me scooch down the guide. I've been deliberately not reading ahead. Boss fights, boss fights, boss fights, boss fights, boss fights. Boss fight, boss fight, boss fight, boss fight. More boss fights. All the boss fights. If you want Ashura and Leviathan, you must have Rydia in your party. Okay, that's not a hard ask. As I say, I'm gonna stop reading ahead now, because that's pretty far ahead. Which makes me sad. I thought we were getting towards the end of this dungeon, but apparently we're nowhere. Dude, I know that I come across as a WoW apologist, and there's nothing I could do against those accusations at this point. I want to be clear that no one was more surprised than I was at how well modern WoW has been scoring. It is such a night and day comparison. Like, I liked WoW before, but WoW before, honestly, was, like, better than worse than FF14, right? Both of them had pretty big benefits and detriments. Modern WoW is just like... I don't know how better to compare that. Yeah, exactly. Like Shadowlands, BFA, BC, Wrath, Warlords. That's a behemoth. No, I need to see if I can fight behemoths. I need to not run behemoths. Oh yeah, that's painful. Oh, it's immune to Sylph. Okay, that's... Yep, So if you can't tell what's happening, behemoths counterattack. And they hit like a freaking truck. Oh, that would be so good, Rex. If Evercold is the Dragonflight of FF14, I will be so happy. Alright, Porum's dead. Perfect. Yep. Alright, Edge is dead. Perfect. Okay, we're gonna do this. Okay, Theodore's dead. Okay, everything's going completely according to plan. This is fine. Everything's fine. See, we're fine. You were worried over nothing. So yeah, I just bought 99 of these. Dude, I think I told you, in FF4 DS, I had Cecil so stacked with augments, he actually... So, how do I explain this? I couldn't take actions with him, because all of his menu options were taken up by passive abilities. The only way I could take actions with him was by setting something for his auto battle, and then tapping auto battle really quick when his turn came up, and then turning it back off. What is with all these back attacks? God! You know what? Hey, just fix. Thank you. That's not a complaint, by the way. Cecil was so... You could do so many good things with augments. And, yeah, my Cecil was just a death machine. He could almost solo Zeromas. So, massively reduced magic defenses in exchange for slightly increased attack. No, I want the magic defense. There's way too many casters in this game. I love how we're all the way down here, floor 7 of this stupid dungeon. We're still listening to the Surface of the Moon song. Did I ever give that negative to music direction? I need to do that. There, kill that. No, I think it's just bad design, PB Good Fate. Sorry. I'm a little surprised we're still getting levels. Okay, that's not what I was expecting to see. Jesus Christ. That's not a weak mob we just 3-shot. So which FF would most benefit from augments? Let's assume... Yes, we're on Mount Ordeals for the 4th time now. That is the vibe I'm getting, Reggie. Which is funny, because the Void did it really well in 5. Like, really, really well. Probably helped by the fact that it was the same tile sets, but it wasn't the same actual dungeons, with one notable exception. Marry me, Palom! Oh, wait, you're Porom. You know what? Marry me, Porom! Lady Porom. Porom is fine. Oh no, I couldn't speak to you in such a tone. You're the great white mage of Mysidia, my lady. No, please, call me Porom. The same way you prefer to Palom. It's fine, really. Are you sure, Porom? Well, if you insist, I'm not going to stop you. Yes, my lady. Alright, enough chit-chat. What are your intentions towards my brother? Are you sure this is alright? Taking an e-popped trainee like myself on a journey like this? Lady, the world's about to be literally destroyed. Palom recommended you. What? He gave us a very convincing account of your natural talents. He talked about how, as your teacher, he feels responsible for you. Really? Uh-huh. I really can't believe it. Are you regretting the journey? Not at all. I'm happy to be here, on a mountain inside of a moon. I'm so happy. In fact, I've forgotten how scared I should be right now. That's good to hear. Oh? I'm starting to think I understand why Palom hasn't brought up his dream of being a sage lately. What? What are you two talking about? It's the evil one. Luca. Perpetual frowner. Look, I'm just going to ask, do you like Palom or what? Just opens with it. Do you like Palom or what? What? That's a rather sudden question. I mean, I simply admire and respect. I mean, as a teacher, that is, I'm not asking all the gory details. You like them, don't you? Yes, I do. Oh, well, good. Huh? That makes me feel a lot better. Okay, that texture was not made for that camera angle. Ice Crush! What the hell? So I've been thinking about your question. Which game would best benefit from augments? Here's the thing. Augments, by their very nature... Oh my god. Was I really like the far end of this stupid moon cycle? What that boils down to is sharing abilities from characters across other characters. In fact, amusingly, FF4 is the perfect game for that, because each character has their own unique stuff that they can do, right? And so now you can trade that across people. And so now, you know, Kain can kick, or Edward can jump, or whatever, right? And you can mix and match, and there's your build, right? That's cool, that worked. Not a lot of FFs have that kind of uniqueness per character. In fact, the only other one I could really think of off the top of my head is 6. So, 6 is my answer to that. The only downside with that is 6 is already a little bit too easy. So... 9, I mean, kinda? I mean, Steiner with jump would certainly be interesting. What are you talking about, push-ups? This is definitely Mount Ordeals. You can tell by the pink filter over everything. Oh, it's just a bunch of zombies. Carry on, it's fine, don't worry about them. It's fine. Yeah, that's the problem. Doing that in 6 would make everyone go-go, and because we literally already have that in 6. Now, in 9... I suppose I could see that in 9, now that you're saying it that way. Right, let me recheck my head. So 1, 2, no. 3, everyone's every job anyways. 4, we already have. 5 has the job system. 6, I just mentioned. 7 is just limit breaks. 8 is just limit breaks. 10 is just limit breaks. 12 is just limit breaks. Sounds like a trend here. 13 is... not really. I mean, it's just different grids. Which brings me back to 9 and 6. Now that you said that, I think you're right, actually, Maze. I think I agree with you. I think 9 would be a better pick than 6. Anyways, these zombies, we fought them on Ordeals. Why do I feel like something terrible is about to happen to us? Him. The presence. It's enough to make me shiver. We got a necromancer on our hands, do we? You're... I'll put you to sleep for good. Not you too, just as I suspected. Yeah. Can I help you, Scarmillion? Or as he's more properly known as, Mylon. Well, actually, hang on. Good God, that's a lot of damage output. What would I do with the Sphere Grid? First, I'd kill Theodore. Very important step. Yeah, Porum, Palom, Tella, and Cecil was the group here. Please, before my very soul is crushed. He's fine. Don't worry, there definitely won't be a second phase to the Mylon. Hey, here we go. I remember this fight in FF4DS, and let me tell you, I was not prepared for that. He beat my ass. I was not used to him being a difficult fight. Spend a little bit of time here recouping. Where's my cures? Where's my cures? There they are. I mean, being completely honest, I usually am not super leveled at any point in FF4. So I wasn't ready for a boss who I actually had to try on, for lack of a better way to put that. Yeah, the DS version actually had boss design too, which I was not ready for. I was happy, by the way. That was not a, an upset thing. That was an eye-opener. Now, I'll tell you the boss I had the most fun with in FF4DS, though. Golbez. For those who don't remember, Golbez isn't actually a fight in the SNES version. Ever, in fact. He's effectively a cutscene fight. And, let's go and keep ahead of that. In FF4DS, he's a boss fight. A very mean boss fight. It's great. I love it. Hang on, let me pick up my phone here and then put my phone over where my ear is. Hello, sis. How are things? What am I sending you? It should be in the glove box. I'm gonna cut ahead of you because I don't know whatever the answer is. Whatever the question is. I do not have a spare right now, no. Hang on. Okay. Yep. Hang on, I'm getting texted so I could log into my thing. There we go. Okay. Hang on, let me get out of the Victor screen here. So she popped a tire on my car. That was one of the elemental archfiends. We may have been enemies, but he lived on the same ground which we were all born. The rest of them may be following close behind. The fiend is among the monsters here too, no doubt. Hang on. Yes? Hang on. Anyways. I don't know if it hit the rim or not. I don't have a lot of details. Ooh, a chest. Hey! That is funny how little that boosts her intellect over the recovery rod. I'll still take it. Oh, I forgot to buy antidotes, didn't I? You can sue anyone, Push-Ups. That's what suing means, by definition. Now, success? A little more debatable. I was actually expecting that, Maze. Oh, hey, and now we're on the surface of the moon. What? You can. You don't really have much grounds to. That's called a spurious lawsuit. But you can, yeah. I mean, that's true. I am on the moon. I cannot argue that. Hey, we've learned to reflect. What? God, I think you're right, Reggie. I think we're just doing the frickin' FF5 Void again. But the problem is the FF5 Void had a reason for looking and being that way. It was actually a story point. Here we're just doing... Oh my god. We're just doing all of the greatest hits from FF4 again. That's what this is. That's exact... Yeah. No, that's why I cut myself off. It's just the whole game in one dungeon. Cid? Master Cid? Luca has been in 3 of these. Uh-huh. We're under attack? It's me, Master. Oh, Luca. Don't sneak up on me like that. I'm impressed you could sleep so soundly in a place like this. Hey, Tom, this is Barren Castle. Gotta rest up while I can, you know? We have got serious work to do. Wise words from your decades of battlefield experience. You got that right. Hey, what do you mean, decades? Anyway, Master, I was thinking about the enemy we face. Do you think we have what it takes to defeat him? I mean, look at this moon. How do you mean? Doesn't it strike you that this moon almost seems like it was created by somebody? Like a gigantic craft of sorts? Yeah, the other moon was like that too. This is nothing new. Glad to see you noticed. Perhaps Cecil and the others can deal with this foe, but can I? Can either of us, for that matter? You need to believe in yourself, Luca. This is your generation's time now. Master. Now let me get some friggin' sleep. Your knowledge and skill go beyond anything I could ever achieve, Luca. You know, Cecil and his lot have been great aid to us all, but look at you, and at Theodore, he's almost competent now. At your age, you have infinite potential awaiting you. Yes, sir. Remind me, Maze, because I legitimately don't remember. Calca, Brina. Looks like something's on the fritz with them. True. They can both use some maintenance work. Here, let's take a look. Wait, no, you can't. Why not? They're really fragile. You can't hammer away to them like you do a ship's engines. Since when I say you can tell me how to work on machinery, eh, Luca? Well, I've been doing it for a while now, if you haven't noticed. Ha! You think I'm going to retire to some country cottage with an apprentice like you running around? Forget it! That's not the issue here. Ugh, why do you have to be such a stubborn old man? Well, your robot's broke. Better fix this ASAP. Yes, sir. Bang, bang, bang. We learned Final Calcabrina. Okay. Sure. I don't even care at this point. I mean, they call them dolls, but yeah, they're robots. An elemental archfiend. Yeah, we just found one. Him? No, it's someone else. Wait, this is the man we fought inside the giant. Where are you? Show us! Oh, hey, it's the Lich King. That's a joke no one's gonna get. It's like a 3-step dumb side joke. It's him. There it is. So where the hell's my spider selves? Good luck figuring it out, push-ups. If you actually, manage to come up with some kind of reasonable answer there, let me know. Let's do protect. Jesus Christ. Just triple notting that there. Yes, my sleep was disturbed. Now I can sleep again. Murdered? Yeah, I think you're right. I think we might be slightly over-leveled. I'm not going to complain about that, though. After spending the entire game kind of struggling, I'm just going to relax and enjoy that. Might actually just be the gear we're getting. This moon's a living nightmare. What's going on here? Why are our crystals bringing forth our past enemies? What are the creatures that pass bringing forth from the crystals? There's no doubt about it. He has to be here nearby, too. The Wind Archfiend is up next, no doubt. I will show her what jump really means. I did do some grinding, yes. About 2 hours of it. Yeah, it's probably worth it. And I suppose we could start putting on, like, the Doom gear we've been getting here. No, actually, you get... yeah, do that one instead. You get a Protect Ring. Dragon Gloves. We'll give you the Genji, I suppose. Okay. And we're back on the surface of the moon. That's just... What the hell is that? Okay, I'm not going to mess around with you. You just die. That actually makes perfect sense, Mace, now that you say that. Experience gain immediately dips. I suppose that makes sense. Nah. Chance to inflict death. Nah, I'm good. Let's see, it looks like we get a new boomerang, which I probably don't want. Yes, but why? Push-ups. Why? And yes, that was the Assassin Dagger. Yeah, he can't equip it, guys. I thought so, because I checked. You'll notice I checked him first. Then I switched to her. So, Edge can't equip it. I'm kind of curious who can equip it, actually, other than Rydia. Who? Push-ups? Kalka and Brina. Actually, yeah. That's probably pretty legit. Ooh, hamburgers. Alright, fine. Just for you. Where's the stupid thing? Yeah, Kain is taking the paladin role for this particular adventure. My lord. Oh my god, he's playing without playing. That's insane. I know it's late, but I was wondering if I might be able to hear a song tonight. A song? Yes. A song of love. I was actually thinking about giving up the harp. What? One cannot create music with a heart as disturbed as mine is. Disturbed, my lord. Harley, a bard is a man who spins together the threads of the past into musical melody. But I myself have yet to come to terms with my past experiences. Not even now. You must find rest and succor within her, open arms. Makes you think that matters at all. Ouch. People are soothed by your song, my lord. They learn from it. They are emboldened by it. I am no exception to that. Harley. My lord. Do you still wish to deny your gift? Would you ignore all you have accomplished, even now? No, that's not what... Look. Anna and Tella have both flat out told you to go bang Harley. Just do it. You know well, of course, I lost both my parents in the last war. But I still found hope in my life to keep living thanks to your song. Harley, if the past had been any different from what it turned out to be, then this moment, this instant in time, would be irrevocably changed, I imagine, from what we are living right now. So please don't. Oh, for Christ's sake, just kiss. You're right. Dude, Edward's got to be in his 40s by now. No, his ghost showed... This is not a joke. His ghost showed up and was like, Dude! Dude! I'm barely joking. Yeah, Kaluuya, everyone's ghost showed up. Why went to Tower of Zot again, by the way? Oh, so this is going to be Barbaricia. A tornado. There you go. Edward's 41. Jesus. That woman again. Another elemental archfiend. In the middle. It's like the middle of a thunderstorm. I feel a wave of anger blowing near. DUKF / pound. Oh, by the way, wood. Never imagined fighting you again. Again. Alright. So, usual opening, Spider Silk. Let's do Firaga. Let you sit there. Do you... not. Do you? You do. Ah! You know, I noticed they don't actually say these are counterattacks in this version. They did in FF4DS. There was actually a prompt that would say, counter. So you would know which things were countering and which ones weren't. Just, I wonder if that's deliberate or not. I swear they did, nice. I, of course, am not 100% sure, because you know, my memory is not perfect, but I swear they did. Unfortunately, the easiest way to learn would be to get to the antlion, and that's not a short task. So, eh. She doesn't know Arise yet, does she? Nope. I blame you, Blitzfall. I should have kept leveling. Only I'd kept leveling. Yes, I am an archfiend. Are you? That's an interesting maneuver. Yeah, I've noticed Mylon said something interesting. He said he was a spirit of the earth. And an idea I've always liked in the back of my mind is that the 4 elemental fiends were actually corrupted by Zemus, specifically. In fact, a common thought I've heard from a lot of people is that the 4 fiends are actually Eidolons, which have been taken by Zemus. Anyways, thank you. I can now die. I know, that's why I put an end to you. You, Kain, I knew it. She dies as she lived. Being jumped on. Hi, Elizar. There's only one Archfiend left, and that's the man himself. Rest in peace. Farewell, Barbaricia. I had no idea one of the Archfiends was so beautiful. Casting Tornado on yourself like that. Well, yeah, almost every one of the villains so far have very clearly not been wanting to fight us, so... Gungnir. I think I know who that's going to go on. That's actually worse than the Defender. Hold up. It doesn't seem to have any special properties. It's just worse. Okay. Whatever. Fine, sure. I mean, I guess spears would boost the jump, but I'm not really jumping with him. It's too slow. Oh my god, Lair of the Fire. How long is this dungeon? Don't answer that. Hypno Crown. What's that? Protect against Pig, Mini, and Toad. Do I already have that? I do not. Some good magic defense, too. And it's still the freaking Moon song for this. This is ridiculous. Look, I never expected to beat this game today, but what the crap. Might. I like how that's a debatable. We might finish first shift tomorrow. Yeah, it's the song that plays for the Moon Overworld. It fits for the Moon Overworld because it only plays for a fairly brief period of time. There's very little actual terrain to the Moon Overworld, so you only hear it for, you know, short briefs. And it's just there to be like a weird, echoey space song, right? Playing it for the entire last dungeon is a choice. I have no idea how much is left, really. I don't have a good way to gauge that. I mean, I guess maze? But part of the point of Vampire Ego Syndrome is that you gain supernatural power, something beyond, you know, normal human abilities. Which, by definition, only exists in fiction. That's the intent of it, anyways. I get your point, though. No, Ross, no. No, FF4 is nowhere... Jesus Christ! Nowhere near this long. That is a very good dagger. Boosts his int, too. Funny thing, Kasumi, I've never heard any defenders of the entire game. Individual parts? Yes, I've heard that many times. Yeah, if we take our time with FF4, it might be a couple days. Like 3 days, tops. I don't have any use for Dragonclaw, so whatever. Let's just go back to Dragon. I've been accused of being contrarian before, but to be very clear, I am not. I admit I have some weird opinions now and again, but they're just me being weird, right? Like, I don't like the Beatles, is my old go-to example there. And, you know, they're one of the best freaking bands in the world, right? One of the most popular, at the very least. I don't like Elvis, either. Yeah, I gave Breath of the Wild a 7 out of 10. The Beatles' music literally hurts my ears. I've never been able to give it what I would consider a proper analysis, because I can't listen to it without physical pain. I do not like Expedition 33. I don't. It is an excellent game that I highly recommend to basically everyone. I did give Elden Ring a fairly mediocre score, which I stand behind. Honestly, the only reason Elden Ring scored as well as it did is because of the boss design, which was quite good. I gave Dragon Age Veilguard a fairly high score, because the gameplay is really freaking good in that game. Like, bizarrely good. Yeah, Expedition 33 is one of those games you have to add a legitimate trigger warning to it, because that's where it is. Yeah, Edge is doing some buco damage now with that freaking dagger. Yes, dog, I know you exist. I didn't dislike Hollow Knight. I'm just never going to play it again. That's a little different. I mean, I also scored Hollow Knight quite well, because it's a good game. I do actually want to buy some stuff really quick here. Let's ignore the personal issue I had with Silent Hill 2, which is whatever. I don't think Silent Hill 2 is that good. I think it's record-breaking. I think it's historically relevant. I think it's the kind of thing that certainly pushed, horror games forward quite a bit. But an actually good game? No. Silent Hill 2 Remake, that's a good game. That's a really good game. Like, I was shocked at how good that game was. That's what I was just buying, Reggie. Thank you for reminding me, though. They only sell remedies. That's. I literally emptied my bank buying remedies. I am not contrarian. A contrarian, by definition, is someone who says something against what other people think for the explicit purpose of either stirring up drama because they like to argue, or because they want to appear cool. They just want to appear like they're that one special snowflake who happens to like/dislike the thing that other people dislike/like. Yeah, no. I have opinions. That's it. I tend to agree with quite a bit of common opinions, actually. I think Star Trek 2 and 6 are the best of the Star Treks. I think Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars. I think Final Fantasy 6 and 7 are the best Final Fantasy games. I keep going, right? Mega Man X1 is amazing. Mega Man X7 sucks. You get it. Back to the Future is a good trilogy. I don't know what you want from me. I like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, too. Oh, I hate Last Jedi. I hate Last Jedi so much, I'm actually still dreading rewatching it someday. We still have yet to find a way to stop the moon's inexorable advance. And what's more... Cecil's not showing any sign of improvement either. No, but I still believe in him. I know he will find himself again. Or be lobotomized for the rest of his life. This is real. Speaking of Cecil, Theodore has grown to be a fine young man, hasn't he? Yeah, your daughter's nothing to sniff at either. Oh, not just yet. There's still a great deal of training ahead for her. With her leading the way, I'd say Fabul is going to be prosperous for many years to come. Perhaps, but now is not the time to worry about Fabul. We must find a way to save the whole world. True. Edge, what do you intend to do with your own kingdom? Shayla is her name. You are the Lord of Eblan. It would be a disaster if you passed away without an heir. Hold it right there. You're sounding a little bit too much like the Seneschal for my liking. Just designate an heir. You don't have to have a kid. Cecil wasn't the son of King Baron. Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not old enough to be thinking about the pitter-patter of little feet yet. You are 43! You don't think so? No subject could be completely happy with a king who does not think of the future. Maybe so. God. A Borostrek. So, Blue Dragon asks a fascinating question. Which is worst, Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker? The reason I say that's fascinating is it depends. Let me explain. Rise of Skywalker is a worse film. Like, period. I also find it more enjoyable. I actively despised going through Last Jedi. Last Jedi. Like, I hated it so much that I've never gone back to it. Rise of Skywalker I've seen twice because it is enjoyably schlock. To use my own terminology, it has a high gameplay score, even though its story is in the gutter, right? It's like a Fast and the Furious movie. I know that's not really a ringing endorsement, but it's true. It is a more competently put together film in several respects, and it does have a higher gameplay axis than Last Jedi. Oh yeah, Independence Day. Although Independence Day actually has a pretty solid story axis, for the most part. There are some noteworthy exceptions there. But yeah, let's be very clear. Rise of Skywalker is a terrible film. Anybody trying to say otherwise is probably trying to sell you something. Why are we fighting these enemies here? A great comedy. You remember how we play that game of, name a legitimately good aspect of insert bad thing here? It's a common thought exercise, right? It's relatively easy to come up with, like, one good thing about Episode 1, right? Or one good thing about Star Trek V. What's one good thing about Rise of Skywalker? So, I've actually done my due diligence on that one, Maze. Please forgive me for not going all the way down into it right now. It's actually really fascinating. But to put this as simply as I possibly can, Rise of Skywalker was never going to be a good film. And the reason why is because of insert several minutes of discussion and analysis here, right? It was a supremely sabotaged film. It was pushed way ahead of schedule. They changed direction twice behind the scenes. J.J. Abrams was never supposed to come back to it. There was actually a plan for a direct sequel to The Last Jedi, which was torpedoed. All kinds of stuff. Like, it was a mess. Say what you will about the prequel trilogy, at least all three of those films were constructed without a lot of behind-the-scenes bullcrap. Dungeon Siege 2, Persona 3R, and Metaphor. Thank you, Narset, very, very much. Yeah, no, it is exactly what happens when you don't have a design document. The problem here is that, yes, Ross, Episode 2 is what we call deliberately bad. Like Metroid Other M. The problem here, Episode 1, 2, and 3 had a rough outline of where they were going, how the beats would go, before they ever filmed Episode 1, which is a smart thing to do, right? That's duh. Even the original trilogy had that from Empire to Return, just those two. When they made Force Awakens, it was intended to be, hey, remember Star Wars? Very safe, very normal, cool. Alright. Then they sat down and they came up with an arc, which, okay, that worked for the original trilogy, fine. But even before they started filming on Last Jedi, the sabotaging started happening, and they never really recovered from that. Oh, hey, Rubicund. Here he is. He's finally shown himself. The fire surrounding us raging ever hotter. Finally appeared, have you? The final elemental archfiend. The heat is twisting the air itself. And of course he heals us first. Fight with Edge alone. Okay. I want to handle this one by myself. Call me reckless, I don't care. This is my battle to fight. I know, it's shocking push-ups. Edelgard is the danger of radicalization, Trihexia. At a certain point, you were so wounded and so pushed that you stopped being reasonable, even if you are right. Because, let's be clear, she was right. Okay, so first and foremost, Spider Silk. I got another one for you. Keeping in mind, Edge is already like the fastest jackass in the game. There it is. Hermes Sandals. And one more thing, Mirage. Yeah, exactly, Ross. Bingo. Let's go ahead and throw some shurikens, shall we? Damn. I am Rubicante. Yeah, it's... I know. I'm curious if shuriken or attack will be more damage. Okay, so that's 1200. Yes, that's right. What are you? You found it, your true strength. You must stop it. Stop this moon with all your might. That was actually pretty easy, although I did buff to the hilt for that. Hate to say it, but you're still out of my league, Rubicund. So those are the elemental archfiends. All the archfiends, they're as much of the part of the world as we are. Leave it to us, Rubicund. I promise we will succeed. Consider it good as done. Oh, there's our bonus. I'm curious what it is. Hey, it's the same old dumb song. Fire Scarf, which is armor. Absorb fire elements of other fire and elements of other equipped armor? What? Lowers my attack a little bit. Boosts my evasion by 30. Increase magic defense, increase magic evasion. Yeah, let's do that. Fire Emblem is unusual in that kind of all of them, really, are good, from 7 onwards, are good first games. My first Fire Emblem was 7, and that worked out pretty well. But if your first is 3 houses, then that works out pretty well, too. Gotcha, Maze. That sounds awesome. Keep that in mind. Oh God, why, Diligent Dodo? Why? No! Let's see. 4 was my 5th Fire Emblem, I think. I can Cow. Actually, over here. I'm just seeing if I have any other like absorption, but it looks like I don't. At least not available for him. Something to keep in mind, I guess. Well, that always sucks, Walker. I'm sorry you're going through that. Oh, Crystal Gear. That's got to be for Theodore, right? Yes. Speaking of, Crystal Helmet. So, let's see. You have the Hypno Crown. What do you have? Dragon Helm. So, let's put this on you. Yeah. I don't know. That Hypno Crowd is pretty good. That's some decent evasion. And magic defense. And magic evasion. Oh, wow. That is better in every way, except it doesn't resist dragon attacks. Yeah, okay, fine, whatever. Okay. Okay, what's New Moon? That's fine. I'm really getting sick of this song. We've been in this dungeon for how long? 3 hours now? Give or take? Because it's been pretty much this entire shift. Crystal Shield. What do you have? Dragon Shield. So you get the Crystal Shield. Squeak, 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 squeak. Like, you know what this reminds me of? Legitimately. How many of you have played Breath of Fire 2? Yeah, you already know what I'm going to do here. Remember, we've been in here for like 3 hours. So imagine a gargantuan final dungeon where the whole time you're listening to... That's the equivalent of this. That is basically what's happening here. And yes, Breath of Fire 2 has the Infinity Dungeon, which to date is one of the worst dungeons I have... The worst last dungeons, excuse me, that I've ever covered in any game I've covered. And I've covered like 400 games at this point. It's that. Ha! Ha! Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. We have now repeated every single dungeon from Final Fantasy IV with no exceptions. Yay! We did it, guys. We did it. Woo! Best final dungeon of all time? Oh. So I was actually asked about that recently, and I came up with several. So let's just get FF6 out of the way really quick. I'm not going to give you the full essay. FF6 is a great final dungeon. Moving on. By counting everything. Counting absolutely everything. Counting the final boss, counting the story axis, counting the gameplay axis, the music, the visuals, the atmosphere, everything. Right? Taking everything that is a last dungeon into account. Because a lot of last dungeons are good, except for, like, there's an asterisk here. There's an asterisk here, right? Uncle Golbez? You need something? No, no! Oh god, don't kill me. You're Theodore, yes? Yes. I had no idea he had a son at all, much less one your age. They say you're my father's elder brother. Yes, that is my exercise bike. If you're wondering why it's facing the TV, then you don't know how boring exercise is. I brought the world to the brink of destruction. Since then, I've hid myself away from the universe. So what made you come back now, then? What? Why did you return to us in this time of crisis? Did you come to help us, then? To help my father? I did. Do you mind if I ask you one more thing? What is it? What is it like on the moon that you call home? Are you curious? Well, of course, part of my lineage is Lunarian after all. Yeah, you're like a quarter Lunarian. Or however the math there works out. Golbez is a take on a name of a small, disease-ridden fly, Mr. Red. I forget what the actual fly is called in real life, but that's where the name comes from. So, you are a pestilence, is effectively what he's being called. So, I'm looking at my own notes here about the absolute best final dungeons. So, FF6, duh. Chrono Trigger, duh. Celeste is a pick that I don't think a lot of people predicted, but Celeste's final stage is very, 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 very good. And Suicide Mission for Mass Effect 2 is kind of an honorable mention. I actually have several honorable mentions, which include Paper Mario 1, Paper Mario 2, Pokemon Violet, Super Lesbian Animal RPG, Earthbound, Zelda A Link Between Worlds, Zelda Ocarina of Time, Zelda Wind Waker, Zelda Twilight Princess, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. By which I mean Ori and the... Ori 2. I think that's Ori 2. And Dragon Age Veilguard, as well as Breath of the Wild. But I skipped over two other ones. The first, and arguably the most interesting one, hang on, Elizar, hang on, is Twilight of the Gods, which is the last mission of Warcraft 3 Vanilla. It's very, very good for reasons I won't bore you with. I also gave kind of the pick to Turian, Super Metroid. Turian's a strange pick, I'm sure, because it's such a different stage from the rest of the game. But Turian is incredibly legit on multiple axes and does basically everything right. It is essentially perfect. I have no notes there. However, and this is kind of a cheat, but the actual best last dungeon in all of gaming, in my opinion, is All In. Bonus points if you know what I'm talking about before I explain it. Okay. Bingo. All In is the last mission of the Wings of Liberty campaign in StarCraft 2. It is the best RTS mission ever made, and it is, in my opinion, the best last dungeon ever done. It is shockingly good on literally every axis. I struggle to even summarize it. It is not push-ups. You're thinking of The Dig. Okay, so hang on. We're gonna leave here. We're gonna cut off, but first I'm gonna answer Elizar's question. We're cutting off because I have to go make dinner for my nieces because apparently I'm the only adult in the house and nobody told me about that. Probably related to the fact that my sister just decided to break my car. So, Elazar asks, why don't I do commercial shoutouts or sponsors? So there's actually a lot of reasons why, and I'll give you try kind of a truncated version here. First and most obviously, I am too small scale to ever garner any sponsors worth a damn. The amount of money that I am offered for sponsorships, because I am offered money for sponsorships, is like $400. That's pathetic. Like that's a joke, and frankly, an insult. Now, that's problem number one. Problem number two. If I ever sponsored something, I would instantly lose, like, everybody's support. Like, I would tank my show. Because if I'm like, and you guys should totally buy Raid Shadow Legends, which is what this is, you know I'm doing a bit. And I can't say I'm doing a bit because there's legal requirements of what you can do when you're doing a sponsorship stream. So, I would have to lie to you. And you would know I'm lying to you, and there goes my credibility as an individual and as a streamer and as a reviewer. Yeah, the respect would be gone. I would lose viewers. I would lose donators. I would literally lose money by taking money because of the third problem. See, here's the third problem. No, hang on, push-ups. Here's the third issue. The third issue is I want this song to go away. The third issue is that the only companies that do sponsorship deals are junk. That's why they do sponsorship deals. Because otherwise nobody's going to use their products because their products suck. Or are overpriced. It's one of the two, right? Either whatever they offer doesn't work, or they're forcing you to pay through the nose for something that is a fairly basic product. That's it. That's all. The end. Now, I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. If someone ever actually sat down and said, we will give you $1 million, maybe $2 million, for doing a sponsorship deal, I would probably do that. I'm sorry. The opportunity to be able to help out as many people as I can with that, and to be able to be financially solvent, is something that I would simply have to jump on. The good news is that will never happen, because A, I'm not worth that much, and B, nobody who's willing to spend would ever come after me in order to spend that kind of money on. Because sponsorships, they toss out quite a fair bit of money to the people that they're being sponsored by, and those people are much, much, much bigger streamers and YouTubers than I am. Yeah, exactly. Off the deep print. Yeah, you get it, right? I would pretty much have to take that deal. Angry Joe isn't nearly as big as the big names are these days, at least are. Any thoughts on the Mass Effect TV show? It should be animated. If it's not, then I have no interest in it. I'm going to go take care of my nieces and get them dinner. I'll see you tomorrow.